5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please do not change channel.
From Krypton Radio, brought to you by Famous Faces and Funnies and Off the Chain with Yvonne Mason. It's the Hangin' with Web Show Radio Hour, the Internet's premier pop culture talk radio show. You're tuned in, you're logged on, and now, your host, award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomichter. Who are you hanging with?
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm G.W. Pomichter, and look at this gaggle. We are hanging out with... Everybody just pop a hand up as I go over your names. Okay, ready? Robbie Cox. All right, Gracen Miller. There she is. J.C. Lane. Jennifer Wedmore. Sheri Lyn. There's the trouble right there. Cassidy O'Connor. That's right, guys. Again, I'm G.W. Pomichter, and we are the Hangin' With Web Show. We are at Space Coast Book Lovers in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Amazing convention this weekend, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the world of Black Hollow. This is a shared universe project, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to tell everybody what the world of Black Hollow is about? I don't even know who's here with me anymore. This is just, there's a better than average chance that after the interview's over, none of us will be able to stand up off the floor.
Yeah.
So this could be a slumber party. You're just going to stay until we're able to get up. So, okay. So, Robbie, tell you what. No, okay.
Go ahead, Cassie.
Okay, good. Cassie, go.
So it actually started out, we were writing in an anthology for Unusual Shifters, so I did a gargoyle, and I ended up falling in love with the character, and so I talked to Sheri Lyn, and we decided, let's make up this town and just make it all paranormals, as crazy as we can make it. And then we just said, why not invite our friends to write in it as well? And now it's become this really huge thing that, takes a lot of coordination and everything else. But
there's a lot of writers here coordinating a lot of different things. So you wrote a gargoyle shifter.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And so who's responsible for the sort of the layout of the town here?
Sheri and I did a map together.
Okay. Yeah. Sheri, what who did you bring to the party?
I brought a mummy.
You brought a mummy?
Yeah, and he's a clothing designer because, he knows cloth. Come on, that's kind of cool. Come on. Come on, that's awesome.
That hurt.
You're hurting me now. Come on.
All right, Robbie, what is your...
Mine actually deals with leprechauns who run a bank, Into the Rainbow Bank.
The whole town's very ironic.
This is, yes. In the town of irony. All right, so what do you got, Gracen?
I have dragons and a siren, and the dragons own Dracky diamonds.
Their fire makes the diamonds.
Yes, their fire
right?
makes the diamond.
Oh, I got you. Okay, and then to dragons and sirens, because that's going to be a good combo.
Well, she sent the killing.
She sings them in, and then it's a bad day. Okay, what do you got? What do you got?
I wanted to do something a little different, so I did zombies, but they're not reanimated. They're cursed humans.
Something a little different.
Are you making fun of my mummy?
When you have a town where the Yeti owns the ice cream shop.
So predictable. Okay. All right. So they're not living dead per se. They're cursed people.
Yeah. As they age, they end up resembling the zombies that we know in popular culture.
But they own the Italian restaurant, which is just
called
gruesome.
the Rotten Meatball.
Yeah, Rotten Meatballs.
The Rotten Meatball.
And they fit with what they did, who they're named after,
The Rotten Meatball, they own the Italian restaurant, and as they age, they get more zombie-like.
Yep.
Yes.
So, sort of like the rest of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do we got here? Yeah. Hold on. We got to get you a mic. Okay. We got to pass this stuff around. I was so over-equipped when I started today that I didn't know what I was going to do with all this stuff, and now I'm passing around a mic. So.
My character's a necromancer that owns the mortuary.
No wonder yours aren't undead. You had to watch out for her. You had to watch out for her guy.
That's right.
You got leprechauns running the bank.
Leprechauns run the bank. And
now, leprechauns are not known for letting us withdraw. They're more...
these are more of a friendly, high drinking. The Clericons are actually the
Didn't see that coming, did you? YouTube, I know if you're on YouTube, you're on the rest of social media too, and you're on Facebook, which means you read Robbie Cox posts, and So you saw that coming.
Jameson was there. That's what it is.
There it is. Wait. I have a note here that's coming. It says the Yeti owns the ice cream shop.
Oh, it gets worse than that.
Oh, yeah.
Our mermaids run our fish and chip shop.
That's cannibalism.
Yes, it is. That's part.
Wow, guys.
It's irony the whole time.
All right, so I'm gonna go around real quick, okay? I can see what the most fun parts of writing a shared universe. That's pretty obvious. But what are the challenges in writing in a shared universe? Let's go ahead and start over here.
Just making sure that you're, because mine came towards the end of
Okay.
the first round, making sure that I represent their characters as they should be represented.
In each one of your tales here, are the other characters interacting from the other books?
Yes.
Okay. So you're trying to keep their characters.
True to their characters.
Their voice.
Okay.
Their voice. not
Robbie, how
their-
about you? What's been the challenge writing in this kind of a shared universe? This is a lot of writers.
You see one guy and 5 females.
Hey, you collect girls.
His favorite thing is a Facebook.
I think
Drunken
the biggest
leprechauns.
I think the biggest challenge is the different writing styles of everybody, the different pacing of everybody. Some are more detailed than others. I'm a very detailed person.
Oh, he's
They're
constantly
not.
yelling at all of us.
What does this person look like? A person. I don't know.
So much of the work that you do on your own centers around the interpersonal relations and interactions of people. What's it like to write characters in your book that are interacting with all of their characters?
Well, I think a lot of the times, with me personally, their characters.
You guys are the
come in
bankers. Everybody's coming in.
Well, their characters come in as like side characters. So
Okay,
they pop
yeah.
in, you sit in the restaurant, stuff like that, and my characters are still the main focus on my stories. And I think each of them do the same thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We mention them. We know their backstory, so we can mention it in the stories to help other people go find it. But I really don't, as long as I don't do something that they didn't intend on doing.
Okay.
It's like
That's pretty
it's like
good.
when they created the world. I wanted to know, okay, what did the restaurant look like?
And
stuff like
of course,
that.
men and
So I
women
that.
do have very different perspectives on life. So you
Yes.
are writing
Right.
with a
Yes.
gaggle of young ladies.
That's
Well
it.
done. Moving on. Sheri, how about you? What's the challenge of writing in a shared universe like this?
Well, we have a Bible for the places, Bible for the people, and trying to get everybody to put all their characters in there and all the
Keep them up to
places
date,
and keep it up to date so the next person can start.
Logistics.
Very complicated.
Logistics.
Yes.
Trying
Yeah.
to get everybody to know what everybody else is doing at that moment.
Because
Right?
we're trying to release a book every 2 months, one of us, and
Uh-huh.
it's like, so we're writing as they're writing, and we want to read it and keep, so we can.
How many books are we up to right now?
You just did 7,
Seven.
I did
right?
my 7.
Seven.
Yeah.
You did. Wait.
7 released yesterday.
No, 8.
Is it 8?
Because
Well,
you
if
did
count
2
the
first.
prequel.
You did the
Count the
prequel count,
yeah.
so 8
Oh,
books.
So you can call this the 8th one released yesterday at the book launch party.
Oh, awesome. Cassidy, how about you? Challenges? Big challenges?
Don't
Well,
say my name.
Yeah. When he puts our chat on mute, that's a problem. No. He doesn't like all those little alerts going.
Wait.
We're always
Wait.
waiting on Robbie to reply.
That's wait. On behalf of Robbie and the rest of us of the male of the species, putting y'all on mute is sort of just what we do. It's
Only
not
on
personal.
Facebook we can get away with it.
Yeah. They don't even know until later
Don't-
on.
yeah,
That's
don't
right.
worry.
Yep.
So,
Well,
So I kind of do the more high level stuff. So I have I try to make sure the website stay up to date, and then we have the Facebook page. And then we created this reporter in town, and he interviews the characters before their books comes out. So I write that blog as him, and then post it.
That's
and everything.
cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I kind of keep the more high level stuff, and it's just making sure. Hey guys, can you think of some? So we had a pet wash that happened. So we ran an ad for that.
what do these people have as pets?
the Yeti.
The Yeti. He wanted to get his nails cut, and they didn't want to let him into the pet wash, but they let him finally.
And we have
And
a
the
werewolf.
werewolf,
They
yeah.
rolled around in something, and she was absolutely, no, you are
Well,
not getting near my
werewolves-
water.
I can see werewolves as pets in this case because all of the actual shifters are more like exotic shifters.
We have
Well, no,
pretty
they
much
actually-
everything.
Yeah, we have
They own the
everything.
butcher shop.
Yeah.
But who does? The
The
werewolves?
werewolves do.
And they go to the pet place too.
They
Well,
just
no,
pay
they
the
wanted
back.
a bath because they got smelly.
Thank God our pets can't own shops. My goodness. Okay. Gracen, how about you? Your biggest challenge writing in a
Biggest
shared
challenge
universe?
would just be, for me, it's layout. Like, if I'm trying to write walking down the road, I have to make sure everything is there. So I can't tell you how many times I went back to
The map.
this map to figure out where we were and where we went go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do we got? That's my fault. Yeah, I'm cheap. I would only buy 2 mics.
I think because of, like, Robbie said, the writing styles, but some of us write a lot more erotic than others.
And we wanted to be
you guys already know Gracen, right? Yeah.
I think trying to match everybody so it's the same kind of
Nobody
levels.
in this entire conference can say the word dick without thinking about Gracen. I don't know why. Or Julie Morgan, who's back there causing trouble behind the camera for a change.
I think just matching that same level of heat. Because we don't really want a whole lot in this world, but you have to have some spice. So
hey, I spiced mine down, and then I was told
and it was still hotter than the rest of them.
Back?
So
I brought it back.
And these guys were like, "What?" Yeah.
That was tame for me.
She went from 3 X's to 2, and we were trying to go down a little bit.
We're going for like
we're trying to go for R.
Yeah, R to X minus.
Yeah.
She's like going, I'm already down to like X minus. How much more can I do?
The other issue
if
is
you don't put any sauce on the wings, they're just wings.
You either have no sex or you have sex. There's no in between.
There's no
Thank you.
Because we're guys.
That's right.
There is no in between.
I was going to say the other issue.
Neither Robbie or I are commenting on that last comment at all.
Again. We're also outnumbered.
We are also outnumbered. Yeah, please keep going because you have to.
The other issue is somebody's characters likes to take pot shots at everybody else.
Ah.
That was a dead giveaway.
Yeah, my next book's out in December, and he's going to get it back.
Oh, okay.
The challenge
we're
went down.
we're at book number 8 now. 8 now. Who? You brought the?
This
you brought
came
the
out
8th?
yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yep. So 9 comes out.
In what order here? Who's going?
I'm next, and I'm writing a merman and a hippocampus.
She's all excited.
Because it's going to be awesome. Come on.
Wait. A hippocampus. Like, that's a part of the body, not an actual.
Everybody says that.
It's like a...
Wait a minute. Never mind body parts. You don't get to weigh in here. Okay, what are you writing next, Robbie?
I have the October story. It's going to be on the story of a jack-o'-lantern, Stingy Jack.
Stingy Jack.
Stingy Jack. Actual folklore.
All right, who's next after Robbie?
That would be me in December.
In December?
I'm doing a witch who owns a candy shop that comes from originally Salem and was kicked out.
She was kicked out.
Who has bad chocolate.
You got a witch who got kicked out of Salem?
Yeah.
She's got bad chocolate, he says.
Bad chocolate.
Those brownies are going down.
Bad
I'm just saying. We're going to
I
have
don't
a
wanna know
long,
anything about
long
those
talk.
brownies. I don't even know what kind of brownies bring about this. Who's next?
I'm in February.
You're in February.
And I'm doing King and Hitchcock that are introduced in this.
Okay.
And then they will have their love interest, who is, after somebody said yesterday, a nun. I might actually do a nun because one of them
It's the king of hell.
That's the king
so I
of
said
hell.
his mate
So
needs
he
to be a
needs
nun.
a nun.
Yep, just to torture her a little.
And you gave it to her to write?
I know.
She didn't even know the word she didn't even know what the word nun means.
Look it up.
All or none. And she's got all. And that brings us over here. Okay, hold on. I got mics. Whoa, we got mics.
Sorry, I'm next April, and I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a Cupid.
Cupid?
Mm-hmm.
She got all sweet right after your nun. Your nun was deflowered, and she went for Cupid. Awesome.
To do with it.
This is a crazy town. These are crazy people. These are Hanging with Web Show's favorite authors, and we love you guys for coming back on the show, guys.
Thank you.
So much. Guys, we're going to drop links down below so you can check out all the books that are already out and look for the schedules and the websites and the social media presence so you can find out what's coming up next. We've got to wrap it up. We're going to thank our partners and friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, Indie Originals Live, Jay Bauer Art. Josh Bauer over there is a fantastic artist. Cogler Emporium for some of our set pieces back here. Embellish Effects for keeping Cosplay Michael happy enough to not drive us crazy. Foxwood Wine Company for our amazingly comfortable chairs, which we don't get to use because I need 187 more chairs, please. And our great friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida and Krypton Radio. Thank you guys so much for sharing these videos on the World Wide Web. You, please, share these amazing authors. Check out these books. Amazing projects when these guys come together and do something fantastic. We have been hanging out with Cassidy K O'Connor. We have been hanging out with Sheri Lyn and Jennifer Wedmore and J.C. Layne, Gracen Miller, and, of course, Robbie Cox, who has the distinct privilege of trying to be the guy standing between all of these ladies.
He loves it.
He loves every minute of it. You know what he does. Guys, it's the world of Black Hollow. Check out the books. Check out the links. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Who's who? What's hot and what's not? 2019 saw some amazing new creative talents, and now you can peek behind the scenes at the hottest indie creative artists in this year's edition of 25 Hottest Indie Authors, Artist Advocates 2019 magazine, published by the renowned And I Thought Ladies. This is a one-of-a-kind look into the brightest rising stars in the creative universe. Get yours today at magcloud.com and at andwethought.com.
Mature and curvaceous Juliana faces the consequences of having two online lovers, the insanely jealous Aaron and the kind, sexy silver fox Bobby. To make her life more complicated, she must weather the wrath of her husband Rocco, who has discovered his suspicion and uncovers a deep, dark secret. And there are more secrets to uncover. Will these secrets come out? Can Juliana survive this tsunami of impossible situations? Will she be able to rebuild the life she once had? Or will the burden of the past prove too much? Is there even a happily ever after in her future? Read what happens when you pick up your copy of With All of Me Too today from joannesbooks.com or amazon.com.
Are you looking for a used car?
Check out the Public Auto Auction app from CarAuctionNetworks.com.
You can download the app on your phone or tablet and use it for free, and there's no registration required.
You can see what's for sale at car auctions, such as
bank repos,
dealer trade-in,
surplus government vehicles,
or impounds.
There are plenty of cheap used cars and trucks listed in the app.
You can save a lot of money with Public Auto Auction app.
You can also see and bid at car auctions online.
Get the Public Auto Auction app for iOS at the Apple Store.
Or on Google Play.
Or simply go to CarAuctionNetwork.com.
That's CarAuctionNetwork.com.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web show. I'm GW Pomichter, your host and journey master, because we are taking magical journeys with creative writers all weekend long from Space Coast book lovers. Thank you for being here. Now hit subscribe, because we want you to come back over and over again. We got a lot of writers to talk to this weekend.
Yeah, you do.
This is amazing. So we're hanging out right now with Savannah Verte, from the author of Portals.
Mm-hmm. Among others, yeah.
Yes, so Portals.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote the portal that you're going to... Never mind. It's YouTube, guys, figure it out. Okay, so let's talk about Portals. Let's start there.
Okay.
That is the most recent book, is that right?
Yes. So we released the paper book version here last night.
Wow. So by the time these guys see this, though, they can get one. Because this
no.
No? Oh,
no.
When?
It was only here.
Only
so
here?
So it was Space Coast Book Lovers Special.
Ooh.
Yeah, just for the event.
Wow, you guys missed out.
Yeah, July 19th, everybody else can get it.
July 19th, okay.
Yeah.
So July 19th, you can get Portals.
Yep, and I don't even have a copy left because we sold out.
See what now that's how you know what you're missing.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, is every author's favorite sentence. Sold out. That's right.
That's it.
Because it means that readers are liking what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It means they're going to read it.
I hope so.
Yes.
It's a big book, though, so.
That's okay. That's okay. Look, if you have a copy of Portals, leave stars, because that's what we eat. Stars and ratings.
That's how we eat.
That's how we eat. Yes. So please leave stars. We like that. Okay. So tell us about Portals.
So Portals is actually it's an epic fantasy, big book, large cast of characters. Sets up on another world is where it starts. The world is at war. There's a group of warriors that fights for the throne and fights for the people.
Okay.
And one of them decides to smart off to the god, and they get banished here.
I haven't read Portals yet, but I'm just familiar enough with every myth, legend ever that I know that when you smart off to a god, bad stuff's going to happen.
Yeah, so the banishment portal opens in the floor to send them through to elsewhere.
Instant judgment.
Instant judgment.
That's the proverbial boop.
Yeah.
You're gone.
And so it's supposed to be just for one of them, but he has 6 brothers that are standing behind him, and they went, it's all for one or nobody goes. So they all jumped forward to grab him as he fell, and they went together.
Okay. Where do they end up now? Where
they
is
end
this?
up here for 1,000 years.
Here?
Here, as in
like
Earth.
our world.
Our world, yeah. So we start
and they're
out...
from a night. There's like a knight's fantasy fighting world.
They are actually Nidhogg dragon shifters that come here.
Whoa. Gotta back. Nidhogg.
Nidhogg is...
What is this?
It's a dragon from Japanese lore. So there's all different creatures from all different pantheons. So we've got Nidhoggers and Soul Reapers and the Welsh pixies, and it's a microcosm, all these different mythical creatures that some you've heard of and some you haven't.
What does your Google search history look like?
Oh, we don't talk about that.
No. Wow.
No.
First of all, every country, she's on a watch list because she's doing the research into all of their monsters.
Yeah. The Kai Lyn of myth and legend.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So the Chrysa Sphinx from Egypt. So they're all in there. And this is part 1. So part 2 isn't even done yet.
Where does this weigh in? Wait, what about 700 pages? 600?
The book 1, I got it to 740. That was as small as I could go.
She trimmed and trimmed and trimmed, and she's like, there are entire sections that she's like, okay, I guess I can do without that. Yeah.
Well,
it's
I
hard.
kind of leave a little to your imagination to fill in the blanks.
Wait. Very 740 pages.
Big book.
Yeah. This is book number
1.
1 of the series.
1 of.
Are there going to be other
2?
2.
I know that there's a second book because while this book does come to a conclusion and you do get to the end of the story, so they're here for 1,000 years. We go through the Silk Road. We go through the Shogunate era. We go through Cromwell's war in Europe and the founding of Venice with the Rivoalto. So we do a little history tour while we're there. Have some fun.
That's cool. Yeah. Take
accurate history.
Nice.
Yes.
So when you're not figuring out what people's monsters are, you're actually learning about what people's lives were like.
Absolutely. So
this is the consummate student.
If we're not green and growing, we're dead. So you got to keep going.
Love it. I'm like memorizing that sentence. That was awesome, by the way. That was amazing. Favorite moment or scene while writing Portals? That's what the internet wants to know.
So here's the twist to the tale. Because as they all jump through the portal together, one of their destined mates figures out that her guy just went through the floor. And so she makes a deal with the Oracle at Delphi to follow. But she doesn't get to retain her form. She doesn't get to retain her immortality. Yeah, so she dies over and over again, trying to wait for the moment that he figures out that he wants to go home. So it's a torn apart story, yeah.
Wow.
And so favorite moment is probably bawling my eyes out when he finally figured it out and that he needed to go home.
I want to do that sentence really quick, okay? Because it's an important moment, especially for a writer.
Mm-hmm.
You're controlling a world. You're controlling a story. You're controlling.
I am God.
That's right.
Of the world.
All of these characters are set in motion by your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing moment when they take on a life of their own, and that life has an impact on you as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
So sitting there, seeing that scene unfold in your mind, even before you put it on the page, that's an amazing moment.
It is.
Where you're almost physically weeping from.
I was physically weeping.
Actions.
I've thrown it at the wall a couple times. But yeah, when it makes me cry, that doesn't get cut.
No.
Save that.
The editor calls and they're like, well, I'm not really sure.
No.
You're like, no. Shut up now.
That's right.
That's right. Fix my commas and move away.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what the conversation is, too. No.
That's exactly right.
You can't have that one.
No, that's right. Capitalize the ones I forgot, and then you just move on
that's
past
right.
that. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Wow, that's amazing. How long have you been a professional writer now?
Oh, gosh. I've been writing, let's see, since the 80s.
The 1980s.
Yeah, 1980s.
Yeah, 1980s. There was time before
the thousands. Yeah.
Well, the 2000s. We don't go back to the thousands. That guy's really rude.
was thinking all kinds of. See, no, we don't go back. 1980s. That's right.
80s, yeah.
Best music, worst clothing options.
I don't know. I like the music from the 70s a little better myself, but
it's got a little groove to it.
Yeah.
It's got a little groove to it. We have the earworms in the 80s.
Yeah.
They got stuck in everybody's head, so much so that today you see the kids going around and they've got little...
Well, and actually, if you go to a lot of the book signing conventions, they're all themed the 80s, but none of them know how to dress. It's all this, neons and tutus, and it's like, were you there? Because I'm thinking you missed it.
Yeah. The only thing the hair...
Yep.
We if there's a hole in the ozone layer right now,
it's us.
We did that because Aquanet, we made you.
Yes. Yeah, 10 inches off the top
that's
and
exactly right.
digging around.
And it never fell.
Nope.
That's right. The hairspray from the 80s is made out of like solid lead or something. It just stays up forever.
Yeah, glue in a bottle.
So writing since the 80s. What was your first published work?
Oh gosh. Actually, I was doing newspaper work back then. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, those newspaper writers rock.
So that's where all of the research heavy stuff comes from, because there's an ingrained thing about you either do or don't, but accuracy.
Yeah.
And having your facts straight.
Be right.
And that's where I've always been.
Be right instead of sorry. It will save you time.
Yes.
That's
There's the other school of thought, which is you can write an apology or retract anything, and I'm like, no, I want to be right from the beginning.
Yeah, because you can't. The retraction is the one place on the newspaper that nobody reads.
Exactly.
It literally is.
Exactly.
So if you screw it up, and then you go back later and say, hey, I screwed it up, nobody heard that part.
Right.
But they have no problem writing your email and saying you screwed that up.
Right. So that's where all of the history pieces of Portals really comes.
That's awesome,
that's where it comes from. Is I wanted it to be right. So as we're looking at the timeline when they're here before they go back, and figure out that was the first hurdle, because the second hurdle is they have to figure out that they're fighting themselves. Their world was divided, and the god has pitted them against themselves, literally.
Wow.
So I wanted to know that the timeline followed and it tracked. So as you read through Portals, you're literally going to follow the timeline of history as it happened.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Guys, if you're looking forward to reading Portals, please check out the link down below. July 19th. July 19th. If it's coming up, mark your calendar.
The pre-order's
hit the
on
link.
Amazon.
Pre-order. Grab your copy now. It's going to be an epic adventure.
It is.
So take it with all of us, as we all do. So, guys, we've been hanging out with Savannah Verte, talking about Portals and writing and so much more. We have to say thank you to our partners and friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida, Foxwood Wine Company, Embellish Effects, Cogler Emporium, our great friend Josh Bauer at J. Bauer Art, Indie Original, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces, Funnies, and Krypton Radio.
Whoosh!
Woo! I love the fact that list is breathtaking now, because it means that those are the people who are sharing our creative artists with the web.
And eventually you won't be able to do it in one breath.
I hope so. And
awesome
I hope,
goals.
Because that guy right there is going to subscribe, and he's going to support all of our independent creators.
Sounds good.
I love it. So we've been hanging out with Savannah Verte, guys. Remember, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Change your life with Ray K Distance Energy from Energy Right Now.
What is Ray K?
Well, Ray K Distance Energy is positive energy transferred over distance by Ray K Energy practitioners to help you heal and live your best life.
How will Ray K help me?
Ray K Energy transfers can help increase your income, better your health, help you lose weight, even stop smoking. It can be used to buy or sell real estate, even find lost items.
Wow, Ray K Energy seems pretty powerful.
It is, and you can start calling on Ray K Energy today. Just reach out to practitioner Leah Schiller online at energyrightnow.wordpress.com.
Leah Schiller, where can I find her online again?
Unlock your potential today with Energy Right Now at energyrightnow.wordpress.com.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Now on Amazon.com. War Calls, Love Cries, a Civil War novel by Mark Berry. Isaac Wells is an innocent farm boy living in upstate New York. His dreams are shattered by a treacherous brother, and the onset of a devastating civil war. War Calls and Love Cries is a fast-moving historical narrative. It is an emotional roller coaster ride and a riveting must-read book that you will think about and talk about for a long time to come. War Calls and Love Cries is the kind of book you will cherish for a lifetime. On Amazon.com today.
Best-selling and award-winning author of true crime and crime fiction, Yvonne Mason is back with a brand new book, The Pink Canary, a book that delves into the life of a drag queen and a marvelous whodunit. You can find this and all of Yvonne's other works on Amazon.com or find Yvonne Mason on Facebook and Twitter.
He's gonna kill me.
Buy your copy of Pink Canary now.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. Now, hit subscribe, and as the kids say, smash the little bell. Come back over and over again. We've got authors, artists, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds. We are at Space Coast Book Lovers in Cape Canaveral, Florida this weekend, and we're hanging out right now with author Lynda Haviland, the creator, the author of The Last Ringmaster. Lynda, how are you today?
Very good.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's start with The Last Ringmaster. That's the most recent book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, coming out, by the time they see this, the excitement will be worn off a little bit, but it's coming out today.
Yes.
So now for them it's exciting because they haven't bought it yet.
Right.
So now click the link below and go buy it. But for us today, making this interview is exciting because it's coming out today.
Yes.
So tell me about The Last Ringmaster. Give me the book blurb.
Well, it starts, I'm blending two worlds, a fae world and a human world. And I was in the middle of doing...
Always fun, by the way.
Absolutely. Everything I write has magic in it. To me, the fun thing about reading and writing and artistry, everything creative comes from some element of magic within us. So I like to include magic in everything that I write. And I was doing a lot of research about Florida and Florida history. And there's a period of time in Florida that really intrigues me. And it's when the circus used to winter in Florida. Mm-hmm. Now, I live on the east coast of Florida, but the west coast of Florida, there's just so many interesting facets to our history over there. And it's kind of not understood.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you start looking at those time periods of pirate and Indian and circus.
I actually knew the name of the town that literally was founded by the Barnum team when they could come down to Gibsonton. Thank you. And they would come, and that's where they would spend their winters when they weren't on the road. And it stayed that way well into the late 20th century. I don't know if it's still...
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what I love that community, Gibsonton, because that's where the sideshow entertainers retired. That's where they wintered. That's where they retired. Sarasota is where the more elite of the circus, like
the Ringmasters and those people,
the elite people. That's where they went. So they took the nice shoreline. They took all the coastline where they could pull up their yachts and build their big houses. And Gibsonton is where the sideshow, the handlers, the builders, the craftsmen. That's where they went. So when I started thinking about magic and the fae world and blending it with the human world, I decided that I liked the idea of the circus always being a mecca for fae creatures, for magical creatures.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
They look different. They can be themselves. They would blend in
with the circus performers.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
So in the universe I'm creating is that the old circus line, the rail lines and everything was the transportation for magical creatures. That's where they were safe. That was their safety zone. So from one location to another, you had sanctuaries. The Last Ringmaster of my book is the guardian of the last fae sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
So the Ringmaster for me in the title, and the whole series title is The Last Ringmaster. So the first book is titled and the series title. The Ringmaster is a double meaning because it's that circus theme
of the Ringmaster.
But
he's also the guardian and the master of this area. Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a neat idea. There's a certain logic in creating that story, is in that if there were these magical creatures, where would they go? As time and people and society changes, where would it not be noticed?
Right.
And the circus is a great environment for that, because everything was so odd, and that was its magic.
Right.
And so bringing magical creatures is a really cool thing. Now, you had talked earlier about writing and it being just a magical process, a process of bringing that magic to life. Favorite magical creatures? What are your favorites?
Favorites?
Yeah.
So many.
Yes, there are.
Gosh, that's hard, because I like them all, and
what is your favorite thing about the sort of the world or underworld or culture of magic? What draws you to those creatures?
Vulnerability.
Okay.
The fact that that characters are not like us. They're very different, and yet when you get to the core of their personality, they are just like us. And I think it speaks to sort of everything going on in the world today.
It does. It is incredibly timely message, because regardless, it is a science fiction, fantasy. These are places where we talk about really, really heady topics in very non-threatening environments.
Right.
It's okay to start out a story hating an alien or a magical creature.
Right.
And evolving past that by noticing the similarities. It's hard to start a story where we do that as a people, where we look into, we say, this person or that. It's hard to do that nowadays and be honest with ourselves.
Right.
What you've been able to do is show the distinctions and the differences between magical races and say, hey, but what do they have in common?
Right.
And with any luck, good fantasy and good science fiction and good magic, the magic of it is that it forces us as a reader, while we're having a good time, to accidentally think.
Right.
And hopefully bring something away from that we can apply to our own lives.
Right. Find that sense of humanity and compassion for others, whatever their persuasion is, whatever their color, shape, size.
Because you're going to find that in the book. You're
Right.
going to find a certain amount of empathy and compassion for a character that you don't start out with.
Right.
So if you can do that to a fictional character,
Right.
hopefully you'll walk away and you're thinking, wait
Right.
a minute, I might do that for my neighbor too.
Right.
Could be pretty cool.
Right.
So this particular universe, you blended the world of magic with the world of the circus. Writers are readers, writers are researchers.
Yes.
Most interesting thing you found out about the circus in your journey?
Just how involved it is. I love going to the Ringling Museum over in Sarasota. And there's a man who has artistically recreated in miniature an entire circus.
Wow.
And I believe he's still doing it and still bringing them pieces, and he donates the pieces to the museum. But the whole circus room, this whole miniature circus, it's like the size of a garage.
Oh, I believe that.
And it's a replica of an entire traveling circus. It is a miniature town, and it's amazing to me that they can, wrap up, haul up, throw all their stuff on these trains and travel from town to town and do it all over again, over and over and over again.
And almost literally in those days, especially, what an exercise in teamwork and in ingenuity, because they would literally do it in a night.
Yeah.
We recently, there is a great, and I'm just going to shout it out, and I'll put a link down below for you guys. It's, I think it was on Netflix. They have a series that is the story of the circus in America, and it follows all the way through until you get to Barnum, and then it takes from Barnum until Barnum hooked up with the Ringling Brothers.
Right.
And it shows you, and in those days when they first started to travel, they would load up the train, they would come into town, take a day or day and a half to set up, and then rip the whole thing down overnight and be gone the next morning, an empty field.
It's crazy.
And it was amazing to me to think of the manpower and the teamwork that was necessary to do that week in and week out for an entire season. That's incredible.
Right.
And the museum is a fantastic place to go to learn about those things. And look, it took me 2 hours just to put this up, and it amazes me that they could do a town-size thing, and it was just amazing. So This is a series, The Last Ringmaster. This is the first book in the
Yep.
series.
Yep,
And
book
how many
two's in
are,
the works.
How many are planned?
I've got 4 right now planned. The second book has some more creepy dolls in it, and the third one is going to be an elephant graveyard, which actually exists in the Sarasota area. Nobody knows exactly where it is.
Okay, an elephant graveyard.
An elephant graveyard.
In Sarasota.
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. Nobody knows exactly where it is.
I'm just saying, that's kind of cool.
But, you have a circus with a lot of animals. Not
True.
just
Didn't do
elephants,
the math.
But
really seriously, didn't do the math. I was thinking, wait a minute, elephant graveyard, Sarasota, what? And then, yes, they have to, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
And then there's another fourth
So I got to get writing.
She's got a lot of writing to do. A lot of researching to do.
Yes.
And it's great. That's a great area over there because it's contained.
Yes.
Yes. So you can kind of get to it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it, Lynda. We have to wrap it up. We have to thank our partners and friends over at Krypton Radio, Famous Faces and Funnies, our great friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida, and the Foxwood Wine Company for these really comfy chairs to make everything really nice. That's right. Our good friends at Embellish Effects, the Cockler Emporium for these great set pieces here, our great friend Jay Bauer at Jay Bauer Art and the Indie Originals Live folks, as well as Jake Estrada over at Space Coast Comics. Thank you guys for all of your support, all you do. These are the people that share our videos all over the World Wide Web. We hope that you will too. So remember, everybody, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Thank you.
From authors Julie Morgan and Gracen Miller, and out of the great city of New Orleans emerges a detective tale to devour. The king of New Orleans is a demon who offers immortality for loyalty. The sheriff is a shifter with a badge who's lost his powers, and Natalia Cortez is the private dick who arrives to investigate a demonic killing. The rest is waiting to be uncovered by you. This dick is looking for a demon fuck. Pre-order on Amazon.com today.
The Right of Wands. One boy, one right. And a world of deadly secrets that could change the course of history forever. It's time for The Right of Wands by Mackenzie Floor. When a horrible fate reveals itself during the Right of Wands ceremony, Myrda must find a way to change his destiny. Forbidden from revealing the future, he is granted a wand and magical powers in order to save himself and those he loves. But Myrda is not the only one with secrets. The Right of Wands by Mackenzie Floor, available on Amazon.com now.
The Blood Phoenix Chronicles by author Michael J. Allen.
I refuse to let them burn me alive. That one selfish mistake murdered hundreds and cost a fairy queen her throne. Like it or not, heaven created me to protect. I'm out of time. The last water phoenix in Atlanta. The only way I can interrupt the Sheep's plot to steal creation is risk true death. Failure means the end of everything. Success might just redeem my sins.
Get your copy of the newest book in the Blood Phoenix Chronicles by author Michael J. Allen. Available exclusively on Amazon.
This is Cosplay Michael with the Hangin' with Web Show. I want to tell you about my friends at Embellish Effects in Orlando, Florida. They've got makeup, costumes, and props for all of your costume needs. And the team at Embellish Effects is helpful and friendly. Embellish Effects is one of my favorite places, and I know it will be yours too. I'll see you there. Or go to embellisheffects.com. And remember, cosplay is for everyone.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back. I'm GW Pomichter. You're watching the Hangin' With Web Show, and we hope you will subscribe. Hit that little bell, because then you'll get notified on your phone whenever we talk to an artist, author, filmmaker, musician, game creator, creative mind of any kind. You can come back and watch that. We are here at MegaCon 2019 in beautiful Orlando, Florida. I assume it's beautiful Orlando.
Yeah,
I haven't been out there. I tried to get pie, but the crowds are like 73 deep. So we're here in Orlando, Florida. We're hanging out with author, game designer, critic, creator, chef, chess player, collector, Jack Butler. There's nothing more I got nothing else. I ran out of things. But I probably an average handicap golfer. I don't know.
No, actually, golf is something I'm not very good at. Volleyball I can do.
Volleyball, okay.
Fair shot at basketball, but not golf.
Not golf.
Never was good at golf.
I can't. the idea of just chasing that tiny white ball for 18 holes, and I don't drink, so the 19th hole is not a reward for me.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense to me. So, man, Jack, thanks for coming over and hanging out with us, man.
Absolutely.
You are working hard this weekend under the Bard's Tower.
I am.
All right.
We're selling a lot of books over there.
Yeah? What are you pitching over at the Bard's Tower? What are you selling over there? What do you got?
Actually, right now we've got Sheri Lyn Kenson over there. We've got Cody Martin over there. We've got Keith DeCandido over there. A lot of authors who get a lot of medium play. What Bard's Tower specializes in is the authors who get ignored by the big companies, or if they're not ignored, they're only given like a month to sell their book.
Yeah.
And so their book disappears from the shelves. Well, we make sure the books don't disappear from the shelves.
Awesome. Very good. What are you
right now,
on?
Me personally, I am writing a couple of books.
Okay.
The first thing I'm doing is I'm doing a cookbook. Like I said, I'm a chef. I went to culinary school and everything. I'm writing a book called The Serve Man. It's a geek guide to cookery.
Everybody our age got that. Everybody his age went, what are you talking
It's
about?
a Twilight Zone reference, folks.
I think it was the first Twilight Zone episode I ever saw as a kid.
Oh, it's one of the classics.
Remember when they used to replay the Twilight Zones when we were kids? And I saw that one and I just was always like, wow. That got me hooked on sci-fi. Because I was
absolutely.
like, wow, that is amazing.
But it's got recipes from various science fiction fantasy sources. So I've got the requisite pan-galactic gargle blaster recipe. I've got, all of Neelix's recipes from Voyager.
Oh, wow.
All kinds of stuff. I'm working on those. Right now, my primary problem is my photographer quit and started college in Washington State, so I need a new photographer.
Yeah,
because,
these kids, and they want to be educated now. I don't know what they're doing.
The other thing that I'm working on is I'm revising the Evil Overlord list. Have you heard of the Evil Overlord list?
I have, as a matter of fact, heard of the Evil. But you know what? That guy right there, his eyebrow just went up, and he has no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You probably saw him at the Bard's Tower earlier. He looks confused.
The Evil Overlord list is a guidebook for anybody who wants to conquer the world. What you do, what you don't do. It all started back in the mid-'80s after a bunch of us, me and a couple of friends, saw this Saturday Night Live skit. It was what not to do when you capture James Bond. Don't talk to him. Don't offer him a cigarette. Don't, just
all the
shoot him.
things that
And so we started just laughingly coming up with a list. And I took the list and I was like, this list could be made longer. And we started off, I think the first three guys came up with maybe 20, me and Alexi Vandenberg and a couple, it's been 30 years. I can't remember the name of the last guy. I haven't seen him in that long. But we came up with about 20 items. But within 48 hours, I had over 200 items. And right now, the list sits at over 600 tips. And what I'm doing is I'm recategorizing them, expanding upon them, and turning them into an actual book that I'll be able to sell.
That's cool.
And I'm just making it more in-depth.
No,
is what I'm doing.
You know what? The thing is so much of what we do is taken so seriously.
Yeah.
And it is. When we're at the keyboard, it's serious business.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you go through and you look at the fandom and you look around here at all the crazy that we've created, you say, there's so much ridiculous in there. Let's have some fun.
Well, that was originally what it was planned for. It was just a bunch of guys joking around. And then suddenly I go to Dragon Con and it's like, wait a second, I recognize your name. You did that list, didn't you? I'm like, what do you mean, that list? Who's got my, somebody's got my list?
Yes,
yeah, it turns out my list is,
a lot of somebody's have your list, by the way.
But I've looked a lot online. Nobody has the complete list. Nobody has the complete list.
I see. Okay. What is the most surprising item on your list?
The most surprising item on the list?
Something somebody wouldn't necessarily think of off the top of their head. Because, you guys, like you said, you started with 20 or 30 and then maybe 100, but you got a lot more now. So what's one that was like the obscure that no one thought of, but it's common, it happened? It's in
the most obscure it would have to be, and this is the quote, keeping in mind today's expanded gender roles, I will look out for any prophecy that says that no man will kill me.
Very good.
Yes.
You know what? That is a good one. Because especially older fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Older fiction was very gender biased. And so there were a lot of no man will do, this one, and gender roles, because they shifted, some of the early 90s and early millennial fiction in movies and television especially flipped that upside down because it was so... Joss Whedon himself, that's what he wrote. His treatment, he said, I wanted the little blonde girl to go down the aisle. When the monster jumped out, I wanted to turn the tables and have her kick its butt. And I was like, wow, I never thought that was a thing, but it is the way we thought back then.
I'm actually ashamed to admit that I didn't think of this one until I was rewatching Return of the King for like the 9th time, and Eowyn has this great scene where she chops off the fell beast's head, and
yes,
King
I'm no man.
I am no man. Good.
Yes.
And kills him. I'm like, why didn't I think of that one? And I immediately added it to the list. So it's one of the last items on the list, but it's
it is obscure. We don't think about it, and especially as culture changes. We don't think of the way we thought back then. We think of the way we think now. And so when no man will do it, today's vernacular would be no person, no human, whatever. But back then, it was very gender specific. So, wow, that's cool.
You brought up Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon did something similar in an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where they had, the judge, no weapon forged can kill him. So she uses a rocket launcher. Rocket launchers aren't forged.
See?
It's
perfect.
It's
just taking those words and twisting them a little bit.
Absolutely.
Things to look out for when you're going to conquer the world.
I'll be honest, rewriting this list and figuring out better ways, mostly it's editing. Okay, this was a little clunky way of putting it. The hardest part I'm finding is keeping it funny, because it's supposed to be funny.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's like, oh yeah, I've seen that. But if you're not smiling while you're reading
you should be, because we're not very bright. The smartest of us aren't very bright. We get locked into our world. And it is funny to turn the tables over and show us when we're not very bright. I think. Mm-hmm. I imagine there's some out there that are like, that wasn't funny at all.
I've had people ask me about that kind of thing. Well, you said this on this thing. Wouldn't it be better? I'm like, yes, it would. Thank you very much. I hope that's a consent signing, because I'm going to use exactly what you just told me.
I've had people actually tell me a street name was wrong in a book. A street like out in L.A. or someplace where I haven't been, and I'm going by an old Google map or something, and the street name is wrong in a book, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even remember. Yeah. I don't even remember that I wrote. It was so not important to me.
Oh yeah. You people get hung up on the details that you
don't intend them to
it's like,
even notice.
Okay, you know what? I made a mistake. I got something wrong. Which is why these days I am known. I will call up. I needed to know, for example, for one book I was writing, I needed to know exactly what the street scene looked like from the Macy's department store men's window on the 4th floor of that particular building in New York City.
So
looking down on it. I called that department and I said, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm writing a book. This is what's going on. I need you to describe what the street looks like right now. And I wrote everything that nice lady said, and I talked to her for 5 minutes. And you know why I did it? Because if I got it wrong, someone somewhere...
The fans are ravenous.
One of you people would come at me and go, you got it wrong.
Yeah, this is the world that we live in, where YouTubers take hours to break down teasers and show you everything things that filmmakers didn't even think about 20 years ago. They have to think about, what's sitting on this table and why. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. Now, you also do games?
Yes, I do. I'm currently, in fact, a third project I'm working on currently.
Because he wasn't busy enough, he has to have another project.
Dilettante. I'm multi-talented. I multitask. I'm working on a science fiction setting for a role-playing game that I'm contractually not allowed to mention yet. I'm sure you understand.
A game soon to be named, but not today.
Yes, but it is a setting. It's a set 1,000 years in the future. Humanity's expanded out into space. They've encountered aliens. Interestingly enough, the aliens came to humanity and not the other way around. And what I'm finding interesting about it is exploring what cultural changes have happened between then and now. Given 1,000 years, given potential overpopulation, given the necessities of keeping 40 billion people alive on this planet by itself.
You know what's amazing is when we look ahead like that, it's one of the things that maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago futurists weren't looking at was population.
Right.
And so one of the things that when we look 1,000 years ahead, space, for example, becomes it not only becomes something. It's not like the voyage of discovery. It is necessity.
Yeah.
We have a tiny rock.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we breed like ants.
That's one of the first things I established in this setting was, given that many people, giving that many human beings, every possibly habitable rock in this solar system is going to have people living on it.
Yeah.
The moons of Saturn, the asteroids, Mars, the moon.
The annoying woman behind the camera has our shut up card, and she wants us to look over there really badly. Guys, we will shut up, but only because she's making us. We could talk a lot more because he does so much cool stuff. We've been hanging out with Jack Butler, who is a game designer, an author, a critic, a dilettante. I like that word. I'm gonna start saying it for fun. Dilettante. Say it with me. It's like Mr. Rogers. Dilettante. Okay? We've been hanging out with Jack. We've been having a great time. We want to thank Famous Faces and Funnies, Rick Shea and his team over there, Space Coast Comics, Indie Originals, J. Bauer Art, Krypton Radio, Foxwood Wine Company, and Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason. Those are the people who share these videos all over the World Wide Web. I hope you'll do the same thing. Stay tuned in. Stay logged on. See who we're hanging with next.
She brought me into this world and opened my eyes, kept all the demons at bay, my ally in life. So many times she would say, boy, that's not right. Mother, without your touch, it's so cold inside. A lady takes my hand, a fragile embrace. Her voice leads me through the haze, a champion's grace. Messenger in my dreams, she comes to life. Lover, without your touch, it's so cold inside. Kushengaza, amazing. Kushengaza, amazing. At war when we both were young, now look how we've changed. My conscience, my patron saint, my friend and my sage. What I really feel, I often hide. Sister, without your touch, it's so cold inside. Kushengaza, amazing. Kushengaza, amazing. She was a stranger then, so tiny and frail. My soul is hostage now, her eyes the jail. She is the air that I breathe, I can't deny. Daughter, without your touch, it's so cold inside. Kushengaza, amazing. Kushengaza,